Hey guys, welcome to today's video. This video is gonna be refreshing because we're gonna go from this to glammed, and we are also going to speak about very important issues. We're gonna talk about endometriosis.
It's true. Lots of questions about it, lots of questions about my experience and what Tati's been through. So we figured, why not make a video, and we'll kind of open things up for discussion about it.
And play with makeup.
With makeup.
It's kind of like, I love doing these kind of videos because we're just getting ready and kind of chit-chatting about life topics. And instead of it just being about like review, like why not? Okay, let's get to priming.
Okay.
Do you have your blendable?
I do.
Recently, I did share with you guys that I wanted to be more open just because I like to confront things and I like to be very direct. There are certain things that in the past I have always been a little on the more uncomfortable side, just because I feel like when you have these really deep personal issues and everyone gives you their opinion of how to fix it, that you shouldn't think it's that big of a deal, or that you're playing the victim, it's really not that bad. You know, it's just like there's so much, and I'm like, I already have to deal with that. Like I already deal with that in my personal private life, and I have dealt with that with doctors.
So much of a double standard though. It's like if you don't say anything, people will be like, well, why didn't you just say it? And then if you say it, then you're like, you're a victim.
In trouble too. Yeah. You're a victim, and you should only focus on the positive, and you should only, you know, I have been scared to open up about this because it's just, what's the point, I think sometimes.
I felt that way for a really long time, but after speaking up and saying things and having so many women come forward and share their story and ask so many questions, it's kind of put me in a place where I don't want to be quiet about it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
She is actually the reason that I am now feeling so empowered and strengthened to want to speak on this and to want to support the cause and to just support women everywhere that struggle with this or other invisible pain, diseases that are just, you know, kind of shrugged off. Right?
Well, but there's so much social stigma and like taboo surrounding, you know, a woman's period and menstruation and all of that. You don't want to talk about something that's so private.
No.
But how do you start that conversation and raise awareness to something this important without doing that?
Nurse Erica has her own disclaimer. I'm going to keep pressing my primer in.
Anything that we say is our opinion, and if you have any real serious questions or concerns before you make any huge decisions, consult with your physician.
Yes. You know, I do get so many questions in my DMs, and I read them, and I wish I could be of more help. And the best thing I can say is keep asking those questions. Yep. Keep pushing. Feel comfortable and confident enough to have the right to ask those questions and not have someone tell you, this is it, your only option, this is what you have to do. Always get that second opinion if something is not like sitting well with you. I think we all know that feeling of like,
well,
like,
it's your body too, and
you know?
if you feel like something's going on, if something's not right, you have to listen to your body. You have a kind of responsibility to yourself. For me personally, I saw like a dozen different doctors before I was diagnosed. It's really discouraging at times, and I think that's why a lot of people give up. And a lot of women just kind of accept that their pain and what they're going through is normal. So they just shut down and kind of retreat and move on with life. And it doesn't have to be that way because there are people out there and there are specialists out there who can help.
Yeah.
You know,
there is help out there, and there are things that you can do while there's
I'm gonna use some of this.
Yeah, go for it. This is just Beauty Blender and Shiseido mixed. It's actually a really, really good combo. You know, when you have something like endo, it's very misunderstood. It's easier for doctors to misunderstand what's going on patient to patient. I started having problems with this back when I was 18. I literally had to go to the hospital, collapsed on the floor of Cedars, was vomiting in the waiting room. Was a whole big thing, like that level of pain. And it's very frustrating to be kind of like sent home and like, well, take some pain medication and just like wait it out, you know? Yeah. And it's that same answer, and then trying different birth controls and, you know, different things that just didn't work really. Hot water bottles, anti-inflammatories. You know, it's just hard to manage when even the doctors, I think, sometimes are confused what's going on. and they don't really have an answer and they don't have a cure. So they kind of just want to give you what you need to be like settled down. And that's been my journey up until about 4 years ago. I finally made some radical changes in my life that made a huge impact. So Erica's story is different than mine. Go ahead and share your...
So I wasn't actually diagnosed with endo until, well, in January 2 years ago, I had a major problem. But, you know, after I've pieced together everything that I've been through and all the doctors that I've gone to for random symptoms, I bloat, the fatigue. There was a point in time where I was napping every afternoon when I would get home from school. And
Literally same.
You know, you just start to feel like you have no idea what's going on with you and like what's wrong with you. Like you're defective and nobody can tell you. They're like, well, no, we can't find anything. But I think for me, it started when I was 12, when I was in 6th grade.
Stop. What?
I remember.
I did not even believe this.
I got my period at school and I was wearing overalls and I pretty much had to tie something around my waist. And I went to the nurse's office and she didn't want to let me go home. And it was the most humiliating thing in my entire life. No. So I sat in the nurse's office, refused to go back to class, and they finally let Mom come pick me up.
Wow.
And so looking back on that now, that's kind of something that I didn't realize.
Like, you look like you're emotional about
it's
it right
hard,
now. Like,
I know, but it's like you think of all of these things that you've experienced
how
and like
that is, and
getting your period and
young.
being doubled over, like on the side of the toilet, feeling like you have hooks and like just like a burning piece of metal in your stomach and you can't move, but you're told there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's devastating and it does affect your mental health and how you see yourself. And, you know, for me, bloating was a big thing. It is the endo belly and it's a real thing. And you can go from being the thinnest, fittest, 6-pack abs
it's so stressful.
to literally
like
eating
you're 3 months
something
pregnant.
Yes.
Like literally you eat like a crumb of something that's wrong. And like one of my girlfriends was like trying to be sweet and kind and comforting. She's like, you're gonna look really, really cute when you're pregnant. Don't worry, like it's fine. Like, and I started laughing when she said that because I'm like,
how would you know? What are you saying?
Like, what the hell? And we just had a laugh. Like everybody needs a friend like that when you're in like meltdown can just like start throwing random like things at you to kind of like try and snap you out of it. But it is frustrating when you have it. Like, I feel like one of those little like pellets that you throw in water if I eat the wrong thing. Like,
and
I can
blow
like,
up.
Oh my God, I feel like Violet from Willy Wonka.
Well, but so endo is an inflammatory disease, and any foods that you eat that are inflammatory can trigger that.
Yeah.
And so that's why diet's a huge part of treatment. Kind of more of a holistic approach when it comes to managing your symptoms.
I do have to say that caring for my health as a whole and not just targeting this one thing has helped improve so much. So I went and I was tested for inflammatory response, and that's when I got rid of gluten. And just that one thing, I noticed over the first 6 months, the reduction in inflammation. Like you can even go back. I think it's like almost 4 years now, 3.5 years maybe. You can see my face is a lot puffier. There's retention, there's tightness, there's pain in my eyes, and it's because I was in a lot of pain. So removing that, and for a while I removed also dairy, soy, which are 2 other triggers for me. The one that I'm supposed to remove that I can't, I'm not perfect. I drink coffee. So like you kind of make these little baby steps. I started weight training. That has helped my hormones to balance out, because for women, when you lift heavy, heavy weights, even if you're tiny like me, it's not like you're gonna bulk up big, but you can increase your natural testosterone production. So you find these little teeny tiny things that help you balance, and that can have a positive benefit to something that just already exists. It's like not a cure, but it helps. So while I have a very different lifestyle, job, career, everything, you know, we wanted to share both of our stories and how, you know, endo has impacted us individually and just kind of open up the conversation, I guess. But the thing that blows my mind is that Erica's in the medical field. She helps people who do not feel well, but I cannot imagine how much you have to hold back when you're showing up to care for others.
Yeah.
So that's always like blown my mind that you've been able to do that.
I'm really bad at putting myself first.
This is actually the common story that I hear is most women who struggle with anything similar to this, we have a hard time really putting ourselves first in any kind of a permanent space, because we put our family first, we put, children first, we put our career first, we put others first, and we try to get that done and handled, and we're like in the back of our head somewhere like, I matter, I know, I'm all about positivity and me, and it's fine, it's good, but I'll deal with me after I deal with you.
Yeah.
And so that's like, I'm going to care for you first always, and you just put yourself at the bottom of the list. And I think what needs to happen if you're in a flare up, or if your body's just kind of giving you just a bad time and telling you like, hey, slow down, hey, something's not right here, listen to it, and then go and ask questions. There's not a cure, but there are things that you can do.
There definitely are treatments. There's non-surgical treatments like birth control and over-the-counter pain medications. And then there's the surgery, of course.
Which, you had a first surgery.
Yes.
Did not go so well.
After my first surgery, so the ablation surgery that I had is where they burn off the endo lesions, and they don't.
Painful.
So it gets rid of it, but it doesn't get to the root, and it doesn't remove the endo completely. So it leaves stuff behind. It can spread and just make things worse.
Like a volcano sprayed inside of you, like little seeds of more endo.
Well,
and they went boop, 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 boop.
My doctor came and talked to me after the surgery, and she's like, you have endo everywhere. I didn't know what any of that meant. I just know that it wasn't good. So my mom, before I had surgery, had sent me this book called The Doctor Will See You Now, and it's by Dr. Tamer Sechkin. I read that book, and literally I was kicking myself because this doctor was writing everything that I was experiencing, and he had compassion. He had knowledge of the disease. And I was like, why didn't I research more? Why did I jump the gun and just go to somebody who said that this was like bread and butter to them when it really was much bigger than that?
Yeah.
So that's how I found my doctor, and I've had 2 excision surgeries.
That have been helpful.
Yeah, since this last surgery, I've been feeling
you've
great.
Changed a lot. Like
Yeah.
your energy, your mood, your pain level, like it's been pretty radically life-changing for you, I would say. And what's nice, and part of the reason like I wanted to do this style of a video is because talking with Erica and even just talking about it, like even just having someone like help you to not feel so crazy, or for me to be able to help her when she's gone through a hard time and just kind of support each other has been so great. If I don't want to work out, she's like, you're going to feel so much better. Like, let's just go. And it's just like nice to have a friend. I'm lucky that she's my sister, but it's nice to have someone that can understand those similar challenges. So again, like whatever you're going through, like the internet is so fabulous for this. Find a group.
Oh my
Find
gosh,
a
there are
page.
so many Facebook support groups.
So
There's
many.
so many great websites.
Helps
And
so much.
try not to Google your symptoms and like look at Wikipedia and all
don't
that
do
stuff
that.
because anybody can write stuff there,
This is just what I have found to be helpful for me, and it's not a cure. It sounds a little bit crazy, but like you need to take that time for you to feel like you're telling your body, okay, we're going to give you a rest. You're going to be okay. And I just find it super helpful and inspiring to try to better yourself, better your overall wellness. Obviously, I'm very passionate about that. That is partly why I am so big on reducing inflammation in the body as a whole, which is why I launched Halo. I don't want to go too far into that because I don't want this video to seem like a sales pitch, because it's not. But I just want you to know that that's really part of the root of why I had to educate myself as much as I did.
People ask all the time, what is endometriosis, right? So endometriosis is when it's essentially the tissue inside your uterus. It migrates outside of where it's supposed to be. So that causes inflammation and pain.
And it just wants to go wherever it desires to go. No rules. It's like, do not go there. And it's like, I'm going to go there. And then the body inflames. The body inflames in areas when we injure ourselves as a way to heal ourselves. But there is also a reverse that can happen when the body shouldn't be inflaming because it doesn't need to heal itself. And then that tumbles into a whole different level of, everything from fatigue, digestion, skin disorders. Like inflammation can cause so much damage, small and large, to the body. And it's basically your body's way of trying to help you out, but kind of maybe getting the message incorrect. So the idea of lowering inflammation is to not let your body feel like it needs to jump in and attack itself. Right?
A+.
Am I Nurse Erica approved?
That was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. You're smart and stuff.
Oh, thanks. So basically, we have very rebellious uteruses. A lot of women don't even know they have it.
Nope.
It does not.
And
It does not come across as pain sometimes. That's the
No,
weird
and
thing
that's,
too.
endometriosis is staged 1, 2, 3, or 4. Those stages correlate with where the endometriosis is in your body. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a stage 4, you're going to be on the floor curled up in a ball, because somebody with stage 1 could be experiencing severe pain as well. Somebody with stage 4 might not even know they have it, and it might just be incidental that they find out they have it.
I'm going to say something that I might take out, but I might leave in.
Okay.
But I think it's so relatable. So when I initially had issues way back when, they couldn't quite diagnose. I had internal ultrasounds. They wanted to do the laparoscopic look, all of that. And something that was really terrible for me at that time in my life is that I didn't have health insurance.
That's another huge issue. Don't get me started on that one.
I empathize so much with the struggle of the cost to even go to the doctor. And if you're struggling with that, like, I'm so sorry. Our system is not great. It just isn't. And I know that I'm doing everything that I personally can to make a positive impact in the world through my companies and make sure that my employees are very well taken care of. And maybe it's small, but maybe the people that I work with feel safe and taken care of because of being able to do extras with things like health insurance. So not having insurance meant that there were so many times that I would just kind of fight it out at home and be in a lot of pain and not go to the ER. There was a time in my 20s that I didn't pay my taxes on time and that I had filed for unemployment. But when you have a health condition, sometimes it's really tough. You kind of have a choice of, do I pay my rent and buy groceries and let that bill slide for another couple months? And I definitely lived that. And I definitely messed up so many times financially when I was in my early 20s. And there was someone who made that information public. And it was pretty devastating because that time in my life, it was really just about survival.
Okay, so another interesting fact is that endometriosis is estimated to cost the U.S. over $78 billion in medical care and lost work productivity. So women are missing work. You talk about not having health insurance and not being able to, do you choose to pay your rent or do you choose to get medical care? Well, if you miss work, you're not going to get paid. You're not going to get paid, and it's a snowball effect.
Yeah, even if you have great medical, if you miss work, you worry that you're going to lose that medical, and you can't just quit.
No.
But you're dealing with something that requires great medical, and it's this whole thing where it's really hard to get out of. I know that I felt like I had to fight like hell, and I know that I have it better than a lot of people. And that gives me so much compassion and makes me want to help wherever I can, however I can, moving forward with everything that I have built. And I think that it's necessary that I be open because this is just a big shout out that you aren't alone, and you can get to the other side. There are things you can do to improve the quality of your life, and I want anyone who is struggling with the idea of paying that medical bill or paying your rent, like if you're in that thing, you're not a bad person for wanting to just survive. And this is the thing that my mom has taught me. She's taught us both this. you can survive anything. You can find work anywhere. Your job is to just keep going and to not give up.
Most specialists are out of network, and so that's a huge hurdle that you have to get over. And I had to literally fight with my insurance to get them to cover my specialist, because they come back to you and they say that, oh, this doctor can provide the surgery in your area. It's frustrating, and this is where a lot of stress and anxiety comes in to play with the disease. I mean, it's intense, and you really just have to be persistent and don't give up. You got to fight for yourself.
Oh, also, hey, we're wearing yellow for Endo Awareness.
March is Endo Awareness Month, and Endo's
We're both
color
wearing
is
vintage.
yellow. I think it was in 1980s, the first Endo pamphlet was yellow, and so that's why it's the color, I think.
I'm cool with it.
Something like that.
You're
but,
wearing
hey.
mom's shirt from like high school, and I'm wearing James's mom's shirt.
That's cute. I didn't even realize
She
that.
gave this to me. It was one of the first things she ever gave to me. She would
Yes.
always be like, take this. She was the best.
So I posted this on my IG story, what questions you guys had for us. A lot of these questions are about, the diet and stuff that we've already kind of touched on. How we both found out we had it, touched on that as well.
I think as long as we
here's
touch on
a
everything,
good one.
it's
What
like,
do you wish people understood about living with endo?
that it can change month to month, that it never completely goes away. Even if you have surgery, you can have flare-ups. That
Get
it
a
is-
second opinion
get a
if you're
second
not
opinion.
comfortable.
That you do have to stay on top of it as much as you can, even through the good times when you're feeling great and you're like, yeah,
Here's
I'm
the biggest.
gonna be
Here's
bad.
the biggest one. You're not crazy, and you're not making this up.
That's the best
You
one.
are valid.
That is
and
the
everything that
best
you
one,
are
actually.
experiencing is real. One person did ask how long it takes to diagnose endo, and I'll say I've read statistics online that have varied from 7 to 10 years into 10 years. So it takes a long time, just because women are often given incorrect diagnoses before they're actually diagnosed with endo. And the sad thing is there are other symptoms like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, painful periods.
Fun.
Like any two of those should be like a presumptive diagnosis, because the only like definitive way is through surgery.
Yeah, they just started
But they don't.
mine without the surgery.
Say you have IBS, here, take a stool softener, or you have depression. Why don't you go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist and get some therapy?
Okay, I just got a little lip to do, and then we are bouncing on out of here, you guys. Thanks for letting us get emotional, talk about it all. Yeah.
Basically, we just want everybody to know that there's support out there and you're not alone. The biggest takeaway, I guess, would be, listen to your body. And if something doesn't feel right, go get help. And if you don't feel like you're getting the answers you need, look for help again.
Yeah,
Because there are
don't
people,
give up.
there are people out there who understand and are compassionate and will do anything they can to help you.
This looks nice. I'm happy. And we will be sure to also list everything that we used, because we did a really horrible job of telling you guys while we were using it.
Talking and
Yeah.
not paying attention.
All right, you guys, thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Know that we're sending you so much love. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and do that. Ring the bell so you're notified of upcoming videos. And I will see you in my next one. Thanks for being here and being so
course.
open. That's
Yes.
really awesome of you.
Anytime.
All right, love you guys. See you in my next video. Mwah.